I'm talking about the one and only. She's known all over the 757. I'm talking about Georgia Allen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good
How you doing?
afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm excited. It's getting close to the holiday, getting close to the end of the year, and just getting ready to just rock and roll. We're gonna go out with a blast and attack the new year with principles. We're gonna attack the new year with information, and we're gonna keep on doing what we've been doing for the last couple of years, trying to make sure that our community is properly educated. So,
Yes.
welcome again. I bring you greetings. I am Georgia F. Allen, your noonday host. We come to you every single Thursday at 12 noon to 1 o'clock. And as always, we just want to say thank you. Thank you, Henderson. Thank you for just allowing us the opportunity to have a place on a platform that allows the average person to be able to hear from regular people talking about things that are important to them instead of all this other foolishness that's going on all around. And again, what we try to do with GA for Justice is to make sure that we bring to our listening audience a conversation for information, a conversation for correction, as well as a conversation for transformation. Because if we don't do it, who is going to do it for us? And with that being said, I am so excited about all the things that are about to come up, the things that are happening all around our community, all around our city, and the things that we need to concentrate on as we transition out of 2023 and go into 2024. And so we want to make sure that people know their power. We want you to know your power, but we also want you to use your power. It's a waste of time to have power if you're not using it. It's a waste of time to have representation and you don't even conversate with your representatives. It's a waste of time to have people who are in position to make decisions, to write legislation, to identify issues. It's a waste of your time if you're not sharing with those elected officials what your concerns are and what is in your best interest. And if they don't act on it, and you don't go and find you a posse to bring with you the next time you talk to them, to leverage your power and push them to do the things that are important to you, that are necessary, then you are the problem. You are the problem. We can complain and blame all we want, but if we're not taking action, if we're not engaging, if we're not agitating, if we're not aggravating, if we're not doing any of those things, then the illness is on us. It is on us. And that is the message that I have been trying to get out to our community and others. Because if we don't continue to repeat that message over and over again, what happens? People get complacent. Many of the things that have occurred has occurred because we went down to the ballot box, we pressed the button, and we left it alone. We went back home, we went to our various silos, and we sat there. And you know what we did? We just prayed something would happen. But we forget that there's another scripture. Yes, while God calls upon us to pray, he said, work while it's day, because the night is coming. That means I don't give a hoot what it is. We still have to work. And we need to be working while it's day, because guess what? That's when business is conducted. A lot of the business is conducted during the day. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some little quiet corners where people go into and they conduct business while they're having that cocktail or whatever. But you should have applied enough pressure on them before they got to the cocktail that when they started sipping on that cocktail, they did not forget what your concerns were. They did not forget. And so we want to make sure that people understand that it's not a one and done. It is a continual process, a continual process. And got a couple of announcements that I want to make because we really need to be engaged in our community. And this is all of our community. Upcoming tonight, for those of you who are in Virginia Beach, and I'm sure people in other cities and other states are having similar events going on. So if you're in Virginia Beach, I'm going to share with you our event. But if you're anywhere else, get off your sofa, get out of your bed, and go and be in the house, okay? You need to get out of your house and get engaged. And so tonight, there is going to be a candidate forum, and it's going to be at what we call the Philippine Culture Center. It's located at 4857 Baxter Road in Virginia Beach. And the candidates that's going to be there tonight, because I think it's important for you to know, this is our District 1. There is a vacancy on our city council here in Virginia Beach. So if you live in Virginia Beach and you live in District 1, you definitely want to go. But why should somebody else go to this event? Because when they vote on issues for all of Virginia Beach, not just one district. So again, this is tonight, December the 7th, from 6 to 8 p.m. It is held at the Philippine Culture Center, 4857 Baxter Road in zip code 23462. Now, the people who are running for this seat is a young lady by the name of Teresa Gladney, a gentleman named John Napier, and another gentleman named Dave Hutchison. Now, it is on you to look up these people and find out who they are, what they stand for, and what they do. In the city of Virginia Beach, we supposedly have a nonpartisan city council and school board race. You hear me say supposedly, but in many instances, you will see many of the candidates will identify their particular party affiliation, or they will use or take money from resources that where people definitely know that they are affiliated with one group or another. Their stance on issues will identify whether they affiliate with one group or another. But all of our council members in our city, in the city of Virginia Beach, are supposed to be nonpartisan and more or less independent. Now, I don't know how things work in your state or your city or what have you, but you want to keep that in mind, because if you have partisan elections, you want to know, again, what party it is. You want to know that up front. You also want to know what is their stance on issues that affect you on a local basis. Why is that important? Because so many people concentrate on the presidency. They concentrate on the presidency when many times it's an issue that pertains to your local government. The president does not determine who pick up garbage in the city of Virginia Beach. Okay? The president nor the vice president determines who picks up garbage in your city. So don't go online screaming and yelling that your city budget was cut and you got to blame the president of the United States. No, you need to talk to your mayor and your local elected officials about your budget getting cut in your city. So understand how your government is structured. That way you don't make a monkey of yourself by running your mouth off about something that has no legitimacy whatsoever. Keep that in mind. You got anything for us this morning, Henderson?
Yeah, because, with everything going on with our youth, when Biden passed that over $150, $170 million, what did the city of Virginia Beach do with $150 million for the grassroots organizations. How many grassroots organizations you have where there's gun violence and going on and activities for youth? What happened to that budget? How was it allocated? How many grassroots organizations got the money? Where's the bag at? Because with things going on with our youth, you can't do anything without money. And I've reached out to different departments in the city, and one of them sent a letter stating that only thing Mr. Vaughn wants is to, because of my program that I developed, he said only thing I want to do is sell some books. Well, I spent my money to develop this program, and I'm not giving it away free. I'd spend
Correct.
thousands of dollars. So
Correct.
when the city sit there and tell you that they are doing a job, and when you don't go to these meetings and ask these questions to them, they just slide right under the rug. And next thing you know, it's another election coming, and the people are always trying to bring somebody in to not do what the community wants done.
Absolutely. And that's why what you just shared is important, that we not only go and speak to these people, but we also bring a team, a group, another organization, another group that we are associated with or affiliated with, and say, look, this is a concern of mine. Let me share with you. Let me open your eyes to what is going on. And then from there, let me bring some leverage. And leverage is other groups and associations and affiliations that we can pool our resources together and pool our voices together to push back against them reallocating money. Because one of the biggest things that we find that our city government, state government, they get money that comes down from the federal government, and they get that money because what? We're all taxpayers.
Hello.
So what we do, we pay taxes to the federal government, sometimes to the local government. It's paid in different ways. And then, of course, to the state government. So when you get a paycheck, you will see your federal tax dollars coming out. You'll see your state tax dollars come out. Now, our city, I don't believe, asks for local tax dollars through your paycheck. What they do is they charge you for a car tax. So they get their local money. They add extra, fees to bills, such as when you go and sit down at a restaurant.
Yeah.
That brings in local taxes. So understand how your money comes into the city, and then you want to know how it's disbursed once the city get your money. That's important. You need to understand that money comes into the city, and then from there, your council members make decisions as to how that money is to be spent. But if you haven't come to the table and you haven't asked them, or you haven't formed a coalition or a body of people that says, look, these are some of the programs that we like to see. Some of this money that came down from national went to state and then come to your local cities. This is how we would like to see the money spent in our local cities. But we also have to do the same thing with the state government as well. We have to tell the state government that you got money and we need you to spend this money in a certain way. And in order for that to happen, we have to make phone calls. We have to send letters. We have to text them. We have to email them. And then guess what? We have to go and see them face to face. So it is a process. It is not vote and go home. It is vote and stay engaged. That's how you, one, know that you have power, and two, know how to use that power. And that's how you use it. So you can't just one and done. You have to go out. You have to be engaged. And I know a lot of people say, well, I'm tired. Don't you think Dr. King was tired at 39 years old?
Hello.
I'm sure he was tired. He had walked miles upon miles. He had fought. He had sat down with presidents. He went before the United Auto Workers. And you know what his message was? Once he got the deal, he says, power is when you make the most powerful company in the world say yes when they really want to say no. So that's when you sit down, and that's again is you're using your power. He understood that the AMPs, the General Motors, because see, back in the day, there was AMP stores, there was People Drug Stores, there were all these different companies that was there that ultimately went out of business because we refused to buy from them. Okay, you weren't hiring us in the first place. wasn't like
Um,
wasn't like we had jobs at the AMP or the Wall or the Woolworth and stuff like that. Okay, we came. You said if we did have a job, you said the only job we could have is scrubbing the floor, and you can't be seen. Even if we had a position in some of these restaurants, they made it such that if it was a black worker, they couldn't come up front for no reason whatsoever. They had to stay in the back because they couldn't be seen. So when people say, well, has anything changed? Yes, there have been things that have changed. Has everything been changed? No. There are things that still must be changed. And so we have to make sure that we educate people. And by doing that, it allows us to make more changes that is in not only our best interest, but it's in the best interest of the now generation and the next generation. So we are so excited today that we want to talk to you about knowing your power, using your power, and making sure that you understand how important it is to not sit on the sofa. It's kind of like the folks that don't want to go to church on Sunday. They say they go to the church of the mattress. Okay. Well,
and
they
the
kind of
mattress is
sound the
winning.
same way, huh?
And the mattress is winning.
And the mattress is winning.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same way when it comes to getting engaged in your local politics and getting engaged in politics overall. Is we tend to say, I'm too tired. I'm just going to take a quick nap. And we never get up off that mattress and do anything of real significance. And we're going to have to change that. We're going to have to make sure that we get up off the mattress. Okay. That we let people know how we feel about what's going on, that we engage our community in what is going on, that we educate them about what's going on, so that we can then make changes to what is going on. Remember Marvin Gaye, what's going on?
Hey.
We're still there.
Yeah.
That question is still relevant today. So what we want to do today is just help you to get energized, to get engaged, so that we can make sure that when you go into the voting booth in January, you have done your homework, because I can't do the homework for you. I mean, I can give you some information about some of the people that are running in District 1. Okay. I can give you some information, but you're better off looking up these three candidates yourself. And again, because this is a program about knowing your power and using your power, I'm going to talk to you and sometimes repeat some of the things, because it's critically important that we do this in order to make sure that we're able to make some changes in our city, because we can't sit around here expecting things to change when we haven't done the necessary things to make those changes. We have to get out here and actually go to work. Go to work.
Mhm.
Work is not a bad word. Some people have a tendency to think it's a bad word.
Mhm.
So anyway, you want to share?
Oh, well, it's important for everybody to be on the same page. Is that we have to get our youth involved. If the enemy want to destroy you,
Mm-hmm.
as we get older, he comes
Right.
after the youth. If he comes after
Absolutely.
the youth, lock them up, get this done, and get them worried about something else and not focus on power, the real power, then he wins. And that's what's going on in our community. We are being distracted when it comes to getting our young people engaged in registering to vote and
Mm-hmm.
get to the polls and let them know what candidate to vote for.
Absolutely. So here again, let's talk about registering to vote.
And
How
your guest is here.
All
Your
right,
guest.
let's bring her on. We have Juanita Williams coming on. And Juanita, I tell you, she's a powerhouse. Hello, Juanita.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
How are you all?
morning. Good morning. Before we get you to talking, we're gonna tell this audience a little bit about who you are. Juanita Williams, former constituent service director for Congresswoman Elaine Loria. Awesome. She is a retired Navy chief and spends a tremendous amount of time volunteering in the community, doing presentation, registering citizens to vote, and educating them on when and where to vote. Because see, if you are a registered voter, but you don't know where your polling place is, you will either have to go to the correct polling place, or you would do another ballot that doesn't necessarily get counted immediately. So she's going to talk to you a little bit about how old you can be when you actually start voting. So talk to the audience a little bit about that. And thank you so much for coming today.
You. Yes. Well, first off, like he was saying, getting the teens engaged, the first thing is they can pre register to vote at age 16. So at age 16, they can pre register. And once they turn 18, they will automatically flip over so that when they're 18, they can vote in the first election. The first election, when they're 18, that comes up, whether it's a primary or a general, they'll be able to vote in that election. So that would be good. So if you have a teenager at home, let them know. And I tell people that when I teach my voter education, because a lot of times when you go to the DMV as a teenager to get the learner's permit, a lot of kids get that sign up pre-registered to vote at the DMV. But sometimes if you don't have a car, then there's a lot of teens don't go to the DMV to learn that information, and parents don't learn that. So you can do that, but once you turn 18, you can vote. And what we need is to instill in our children and adults to vote. Because during this last election, I ran across a lot of people that were disengaged and people who had never voted. And I talked to them and I explained the significance of voting. Because at the end of the day, we have to realize whether you vote or not, politics runs your entire life. These people run your entire life. And the thing is, they can do good or they can do harm. And what it is if you look at parties, is that person in there to do good for me? Nobody should be taken away from you. They should all be enhancing your life, whether they're getting paid or not getting paid for that job that they're sitting on. And this next year in 2024, there are a lot of things that are going to, a lot of candidates that are going to be on the ballot, from city to federal to president. We can't always sit and wait for a president, because people don't realize the president does not have the power that people think he holds.
Absolutely. I was before you came on the air, I was sharing with Henderson. I said it's amazing how so many people actually believe that the president is in charge of a city's budget,
Yes,
and
yes.
their hair is on fire, and they're like, "Oh, no, garbage is not going to be picked up." The president is not responsible for your garbage being picked up. That
And you,
is your, go
yeah.
ahead.
And when you say that, having worked for Congresswoman Loria, I ran our constituent services and the district, our 3 district offices, and people would call us. And like you say, knowing the different levels, people would call our office and they would be, my Section 8, my Section 8. Well, they gave this much to HUD. And I'm like, Congress is the one who allocates the monies to the states, like you were saying earlier. And I'm like, I know how much money was allocated to HUD and how much went to Section 8. I said, but that is run by your state, So I'm like, I can give you your state representative because they're the ones that can help you with the problem that you're having. And that's where we have to, let people know this is the person that runs this. And each representative has a contact information and they have somebody who has a constituent service, that can help you, whether it's a city issue, a state issue, or a federal issue, you know. And I try to tell people, just like you were saying, once you vote, whether you voted for that person or not, you need to boss up because you're their boss at this point. If they're not doing anything, guess whose fault it is? It's not their fault. It's your fault because you have not been engaged. All you did was voted, and then all you're doing is sitting back and complaining. Your boss doing it at your job, don't just sit back and complain. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna send you emails, they're gonna call you into their office, whatever they're gonna do. So when you go to their town halls or you go to anything that they having, that's like you said, you go to those meetings. You bring your girlfriends that live down the street or whoever else, because y'all all the bosses of that person. You go voice your concerns. And that's
Absolutely.
like you tell us all the time. Georgia sends us text messages. Hey, this is going on. We need to show up. We need to show up and show out. Let them know. And that's what we do. Okay.
And the other thing, when I send those messages out, guess what my team does? They send it out to other people. Okay.
Right. It takes
It's not their message alone. It is their message to share. And that's one of the things that we have to get better at is when we get information, we don't have to hold on to it like it's a piece of gold, even though it is a piece of gold. That information is a piece of gold. But guess what? It's not one of those pieces of gold where you can go down there to the pawn shop and say, give me some money. Okay. But this is the type of piece of gold it is. You can go, you now have the information to go before city council, go before school board, or go before the state legislature or whomever and pressure them to work on your behalf because you got the information and you know where they're going to be and you know you can see them face to face. And when they see you show up, expressions change.
Working in them seats. Yeah. They see a whole group come in and sit down. They're like, oh, it's about to get hot tonight.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my man says it's getting hot in here.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the way it is. And they recognize when a constituent base comes and when that constituent base comes with reinforcements. So I want to encourage you, whether you live in the city of Virginia Beach, when I do this show, it's not just about my city. It's about the entire country. If you're listening, a lot of the things that I'm saying about what we have done in Virginia Beach or what we try to do here locally, you can do the same thing. And you may get even better results than I got because you may have had a bigger group of people that will go with you to these meetings. And so keep that in mind. This is not for me and my group or my team or my city alone. When I talk to you, I talk to everybody. Oh, because I respect everybody.
That's right. You put that information out and you tell them, you say, hey, what we doing here, everybody can do, because there's no plan that can't happen in another city. I tell them, I say, hey, if it's 2 of y'all go to the meeting, y'all take that information back, spread the word, and then next week when they have another meeting, it's a whole lot of y'all that, everybody go, y'all wear purple shirts, y'all wear whatever, you're going to let them know. I said, but the thing is, the things that they're doing, they're not doing in the dark, and we can't be reactive. We got to be proactive, because see, it's on the news after they had the meeting, the plans that they're going to do, and then we sit back and we upset that they're doing this now. But we can't be upset because they've been having meetings on it. and we ain't showing up, voicing our
We're not showing up. Exactly.
protesting afterwards. We protesting after the vote. No, we need to be in those meetings expressing how we feel before that and letting them know and filling up all those seats.
Hmm.
Getting
And
there early, ain't nobody else getting them seats.
absolutely. And that's another thing that's important. When you come as a group. You don't
Yeah.
come as individuals. I see a lot of times we'll come to meetings and we're spread all over the whole entire room. So it's hard to identify that we are a collective. And we need to
Yes.
make it our business that when we go to council, we're going to all sit in this area. Okay. And if
Yeah.
there's not enough room for all of us in that particular area, then we move over to the right or to the left of that area or directly behind that area. But we do something to let them know that we're still all a part of the same group. And the other thing, like you say, wear the same color or wear a similar type color, even if it means something as simple as putting a button on and everybody got the same button on so
Oh
that
yeah,
when we walk in, you know who we are. And
that's right.
there's no misinformation, there's no misunderstanding. You know who we are.
Oh yes.
That's tremendous. That is absolutely tremendous. One of the other things that I wanted to announce now that you are up here with me is December the 12th, which is coming up. There is a training. And I think you were going to say you're going to do voter education again instead of
No,
filing tax. Are you going to do
that's
the filing taxes?
filing taxes. Well, we're going to postpone that one.
Okay.
We're going to postpone that one, and we're gonna just kick off the one in January that we're going to do filing taxes. And
Okay.
things is working for Congress. There were a lot of our community that were going to H&R Block and Jackson Hewitt and paying almost $1,000 to get their taxes done, and they were simple taxes. And a lot of time, ever since I've started filing taxes, I've always done my own. But a lot of times, people don't know that the IRS has free tax services,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to show people how to do their own. Since I've left Congress, I've helped several people that were constituents because I told them, I said, you should not be paying this money. You can do these taxes here yourself. So I've taught them how to do their taxes and how to even check them to make sure. They were like, I thought I would do it wrong. And I'm like, the IRS can do your stuff. The person who does this can check yours while they eating breakfast. And I said, the thing is, the IRS is going to check your stuff and they're going to send you what you do. The money that you're paying somebody, these big companies to do your stuff, you could buy you a used car or something I know you need
Right.
that, your kids need or whatever to not pay that money to them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing is let's not give money away that we don't need to. Because if you're getting that big of a tax return, then I know you need it. I know you need that money going somewhere other than to those people's hands. So
Correct.
that's what I to help our community with, and not to just run out to these people and give them your money.
See,
So
I
I'll
told you. I told you. Ms. Williams, she is a workaholic when it comes to the community. She is everywhere. She's helping our citizens gain access to right information and then using that information for their good. A lot of people, they'll leave the congressperson office or leave the senator's office and they don't have time for anybody. They go out and buy a fake briefcase and put on fake glasses and put their chin up in the air and pretend like they're something that they're not. And when you see them out, well, hello there. And they do all of this stuff because they want to pretend like they're so much more important than the rest of us. And so what I love about Juanita is she feels that it's up to her to take what she has learned and then give it back to the community. So she's not interested in pulling up the ladder. She's interested in people climbing up the ladder. And therein lies the difference. And that's what I love so much about her, is that she's a fighter for the community. She's willing to help people register to vote. She's willing to identify where the precinct is, help them identify who's your representative.
Oh,
And she's a pro at it. Talk to people about finding out who represent you and how important it is to take advantage of the tools that are available to them.
yeah. So one of the things is here in Virginia is what you can find is who's your legislator, and who's your legislator will tell you who actually represents you in Virginia. And that will give you their contact information. It'll give you their numbers and everything. So if you have any problems in the state of Virginia, you can do that. Now, for anybody listening anywhere else, or you all also in Virginia, you can go to Ballotpedia. And what that is BALLOTPEDIA.com. And what you can do on there, and when I teach my sessions, is you can put anybody's name in there, or you can put your state. And what you can do is you can find out who represents you. And once you put it in there, you will, because like I said, we're bosses now. Okay, so we need to boss up. So you cannot say your representative, they haven't done anything, because in there, you'll be able to find out what they've done. You'll be able to, any bills that they've passed, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see all of their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram, all of those different media things. So you need to follow along with that, so you can see what they're doing outside of just what they're doing on their jobs, but what they're doing on social media. What events are they going to? Are they engaging with the community? Okay, because sometimes people are standoffish. Are you just doing that job, or are you engaging with us? Where can we see you at? Where can I go to a town hall that I can speak to you and see what's going on? But if you go on there, you'll see their whole resume. You'll be able to find out, a lot of information about them. But the biggest thing is we're their bosses. So you'll be able to see where to contact them. So if you have anything, what your mom used to say, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Absolutely.
So your mouth is closed after you went and voted. Remember, that's the first step, is voting.
Absolutely.
You hold them accountable. But one thing that when I teach at my voter education, your person is a piece of the pie. Okay? So when your person is in there, is your person doing what they said they were going to do? Okay? A lot of times when people are running and they tell you what they're running on, that because they get in there, you have to remember that they are working on the things that they said. If their stuff went in committee and it didn't come out, they pushed for what they said they were going to do. If it didn't come out of committee, then that means that they tried to do what they said they were going to do. But the people that were in committee said, no, we're not going to hear that now. So that means that they did that they said they were going to do. So now you see that they did it. So you can't say, oh, they didn't do nothing. You say they did that part. So you can check that off. Okay, they did do that. But see, a lot of times people don't do that. So like the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, that passed the House, which people don't know. A lot of people say, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. And the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, people don't know because they don't say it on the news. And when they don't say stuff on the news, when those things pass in the House, it didn't pass in the Senate, so it never got to the president. When those things don't pass, people don't know about it, and they don't follow their representatives to see those bills and stuff that were passed. Then they just get upset. But if your piece of the pie voted and voted for that, then you say, okay.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, there are how many people in Congress? In the House of Representatives first.
The House of Representatives has 440 members, but there are 435 that are voting members that can actually vote.
Correct.
So that's what you have to realize. So when out of that 435, you have one House of Representatives and then Congress together, because Congress is the Senate and the House of Representatives. So you have 100 senators and 435 voting members in the House. And then you have 5 members that don't vote. So that's like Guam, you have the Virgin Island, those places like that.
Washington, D.C., that they still haven't given them the right to vote. I mean, giving them full.
Yeah, full
Yes.
statehood. Yes.
Yes.
So when you think of people who, the ones that can't vote,
right.
They have a representative, but they don't have statehood. So they,
Right.
they vote. Yes.
Absolutely.
But
And so that's important. Because a lot of times people are like, well, my congressperson didn't do anything. Well, if your congressperson, like you just said, did what they were supposed to do, but it did not pass out of committee, what would you recommend that persons who are interested in getting these types of legislation passed, what would you recommend that they do?
Gosh. Well, I know one thing, like even the George Floyd, because if it doesn't pass in one Congress, then they bring it back again. So like George Floyd, it came back again. So those things, if it doesn't pass in one Congress, they have to reintroduce it again. So it was reintroduced and passed again. So each time it doesn't pass, or things that don't come out of committee, they can reintroduce it again, or somebody else can pick it up. So they have to get sponsors and people to sign on to it. So they just work harder and get more people to sign on to it and go back and try and will and deal to get more people to go with it, or if there any changes somebody wants. But as long as they, if they push it to the side, most times it has to wait to the next session that they have. They won't bring it back to the next session, but they can't bring it back. But I just think that citizens need to follow their representatives so that they can see what their representative is actually doing before they go in there and say they're not doing anything. But also you need to look at the representative. If you didn't vote for them, if you didn't vote for that person and that is your representative, you need to see what they're doing also, because they could be doing harm to you and, sitting up here saying, we want to ban books. We want to do, all the different things that are going on right now in the country. And you need to see, a lot of times, different parties and stuff. And people say, with Congress going on right now and everything that's happening. And people say, what a Democratic Party this or whatever. And I'm like, what we have to do is quit holding one party accountable for stuff and hold both parties. Because at the end of the day, you can't just say one party is, well, this party should be, why can't they do this? Well, everybody has parties on both sides. So, well, you have to hold everybody accountable because all of them should be doing good for us.
Absolutely. We pay all of their salaries, we don't stop paying people salaries just because they're at one political party or another. So we still pay their salaries.
And what you all need to realize is those people who sit in Congress on that federal level, they get paid $174,000 a year. They vote for the increase in their salary. Okay? They have to serve 5 years to get a pension. Now, for the younger ones, they don't get it till they're older, but they have to serve 5 years. So that's what you need to realize is these people that make decisions about your life for a lifetime in some cases. That's what happens. Just like the student loans. One thing about the student loans, the thing that President Biden wanted to do with the student loans, any state can challenge what the president puts out. So that's where people need to see, like you say, when we're talking to everybody, no matter where you live at, because something can be challenged in any state in the U.S. And once they challenge it, they'll challenge it in Texas. Then that's where the student loan was challenged at. So it was challenged in Texas. Then it went to the courts there. Then it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they struck it down. So anything can be challenged from any court that the president does, no matter if he's in a Republican or a Democrat. It can always be challenged and go up to the Supreme Court. But if the president has Congress, Democratic Congress, and altogether the House of Representatives and the senators match what the president is, then he can pass that law and the student loans would have been away. So that's when presidents run, that's one thing to remember. When the president runs, when they make promises to citizens, what they're saying, when they're running, you have to listen. If you give me the party that I need. So what they're telling you is, don't just go in and vote for me. I need you to vote for your congressperson. I need you to vote for your senator. I need you to vote down ballot, because when you don't give me the people that I need, I cannot do this, because anything can be challenged that I put in. Any executive order that I put in can be challenged by any state. But if I have the Congress that I need, it can be put into law. So that's what you have to remember, is that there.
And that's very important, because a lot of times people feel like, well, I voted for the president, he didn't do this or he didn't do that. Well, guess what? When you do vote for the president, keep in mind that the U.S. House of Representatives has to be controlled by the same party that the president is a member of. The same thing with the U.S. Senate. It has to be controlled by the same party of the president. And so if you have a 50-50 type situation, you're going to have a difficult time passing bills, because even if your party is 50% and the vice president can break the tie, if they lose anybody in that party, then there is no tie. And so there is no time where the vice president can break the tie. So you not only need 50, but you need 50 plus 1, 50 plus 2, 3, 4, 5. You actually need to have a 60-member Senate when your president is in office. At minimum, you should have a 60-member Senate, because that puts you in a position where most legislation, you're in a position to pass it. With regards to being in committee, a lot of times we only think of our representative, but committees could be 11, 12, 15, 20 members. You also need to know who those people are, because with like change.org and different groups and organizations like that sends petitions, you can create a petition to send to all of those members of that particular committee and say, we want you to vote for this particular bill. Congressperson such and such put that bill in. We as a community, we as a coalition, not only in this state, but throughout the country, this is something that we want to see you bring out of committee and put on the floor of the House of Representatives, and we want it passed. And so if we send it to the committee and they get enough people from around the country that says this is what we want to see happen, then they have to go back out to their members and say, look, I got 5 million notices saying that this is what the American people want. That's leverage. That's power. Go ahead.
You're right about that, Georgia. And that's one of the other things. What she said right there, look, thank you, because my brain had shut off right there. But that's another thing. With me working in Congress, every day we receive phone calls, we receive emails, and people will contact you. And that's what you all need to do. Contact your representatives, because every day we did a daily report. This many people called about, Medicare. This many people called about this bill that's coming up. And they said, vote no on this. They said, vote yes on this. Okay, so when they say, have you heard your constituents talking about this? No, my constituents haven't been calling about this. I'm getting plenty of calls from my constituents about this. So that's where your power is. You tell your friends to call, you tell everybody to call, everybody to email, all of that. So when that comes to, hey, 10 of us, especially when it comes to Congress, or even like your street and stuff, city council and all those different things. You have everybody call, and don't be scared to do it, because at the end of the day, you are their boss, and this is our lives that we're talking about. Okay, this is our lives, our children's lives, all of that. So we can't be scared to use our power, because they're not scared to use their power.
Absolutely.
Okay? Whether it's for the good or the bad of us, they are going to use their power. And guess what? Like I said, you're their boss. So
Absolutely.
you and your friends and your family need to use your power, because they are definitely going to use theirs. Because at the end of the day, whatever they say, the collective is going to be what's going to be. So we need to make sure that we are engaged.
Absolutely. Well, again, I have Juanita Williams here. She is awesome when it comes to anything having to do with Congress, anything having to do with voting, anything having to do with legislation. She's our go-to person. And with that being said, if you have a business and you would be willing to open up your doors, we will be more than happy, Juanita and I, to come by your business and periodically and help educate your clientele. You may be a barbershop, a beauty salon, a small restaurant owner, or nail shop, whatever. We do not mind coming in and sharing information with you. And guess what? We're not going to take all day to share it. We probably do 30 minutes and we're out. Okay, we'll leave you a few flyers, brochures, or what have you, and we'll keep it moving. But you will still be able to get in touch with us, and all because it's important that we get our entire community engaged. And with that being said, I have another announcement. The NAACP will hold its Jubilee Day Emancipation Proclamation service event on January the 28th. It is the fourth Sunday of the month. It's going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at New Light Baptist Church here in the city of Virginia Beach. We are so excited. And our theme this year is Keep Your Eyes on the Prize. And we chose that because our prize is our youth. And that's where we're keeping our eye. We are keeping our eye on our youth, building them up and putting them in a position of authority, because that's what we need to do. So, do you have any final comments, Juanita?
No, I just need everybody to get engaged and know your power and use your power, because when you don't use it, they love it.
Absolutely. Well, again, Henderson, thank you so much for this opportunity. Anytime we can come on and just talk with our listening audience and all. And just as a reminder, push it out to everybody that you know. Okay. Click on YouTube, click on the social media, and you will find us out there. You can look up my name, Georgia Allen, or you can look up GA for Justice. And that's JUST-IS, GA for Justice. Okay. And you can find us out there. And please look us up, listen, share, and let people know that there are people out here working on your behalf, because we have this mindset, well, ain't nobody doing anything for us. Ain't nobody doing anything. Yes, we are. And there's plenty of us all over the country doing similar things, not exactly the same thing, but there are people all over the country doing very similar things. Those of us who believe in community, who are activists, who don't mind getting out there working and fighting on behalf of you, both adults as well as youth. If you look like us, we fight for you. Okay.
And just before we sign off, Miss Williams, didn't you write a book?
Oh no, I haven't written a book. I need to.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure, because Christmas is coming, and that'll been a great Christmas stocking stuffer, for people to be putting under the Christmas tree.
Okay, thank you for Anderson.
I thought it was. I thought you had a book. You know, I just
That's
wanted to put it out
it's
there.
probably the other Williams, because look, there's a whole lot of them. As a matter of fact, my granddaughter is also Williams. I don't know if y'all related, but she's a Williams too.
Oh, okay.
And my
Okay.
nieces and nephews, I got a whole bunch of Williams nieces and nephews.
Okay.
So you
Hey.
may actually be family connected and just didn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's how God works. Maybe you got to write a book. You know.
There you go. Okay.
You know.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks again, Henderson. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be signing off. And keep in mind, we'll be here next Thursday. Again, it's December. So we are for those who celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas and Kwanzaa, we celebrate them all. And we don't pick and choose that somebody is more important than someone else. And if we don't celebrate a holiday, we celebrate you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, there it is. There you have it. GA for Justice. And don't forget to share this on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media, even TikTok. Because I'll be able to be editing this to put on TikTok as well, you know, because I got the connections like that. But nevertheless, we'll join us next Thursday from 12 until 1 with GA for Justice with your host, the one and only community activist, Georgia Allen. Until then, this has been WVDM, GA for Justice on the World Wide Web. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.